The fourth message arrived just after midnight. Area Lane, rising star with a voice that could quiet a room, stared at the glowing screen. Another anonymous warning. Another reminder that fame wasn't just bright lights and applause. Her manager called an emergency meeting. Her label wanted stricter security. And by morning, she had a new bodyguard. Jackson Reed. Charming, calm, and dangerous in a way that made everyone else step aside. His only rule was simple: I don't get involved. But as it turned out, he had never protected someone like her before. Area Lane had been famous for all of 6 months, and the world had already decided it owned her. Her songs topped playlists, her face appeared on late-night billboards, and everyone whispered that she was the next global superstar. But fame came with shadows. The stalker messages started small, fan-like praise, strange but harmless. Then they grew personal, descriptive, threatening. And tonight, the message included the exact color of the dress she had worn to rehearsal. No one should have known that. She walked into the rehearsal venue early the next morning, hair pulled back, wearing oversized sunglasses. She didn't expect anyone to be waiting for her. She especially didn't expect him. Jackson Reed leaned against the stage railing like he had all the time in the world. Black shirt, tailored suit jacket, clean-cut, confident, but with something sharp beneath the surface. Area stopped walking. "Who are you?" "Jackson Reed," he answered. "Your new protection detail." "My manager hired you?" "Yes, effective immediately." She frowned. "I already have security." "You did," he said calmly. "You don't anymore." Area crossed her arms. "I don't like surprises." "Most people don't, but you need someone who won't miss details." She hated that his gaze made her feel seen, too seen. "This is temporary," she said. "Of course," he replied smoothly, "until the threat is gone." Area turned and walked toward the stage. Jackson followed with long, easy strides, always 3 steps behind her, close enough to protect, far enough to not intrude. The label made one thing crystal clear: maintain distance, keep things strictly professional. Area had no intention of breaking that rule. What she didn't know was that Jackson already felt the first crack. The first scare happened the next day. A man slipped past backstage security during sound check. Area felt someone watching her, closer than they should have been. Before she could turn around, Jackson was already moving. 1 second, he stood by the stairs. The next, he had the intruder pinned, calm but fierce. "Call venue security," he said over his shoulder. Area watched, shaken. He handled the situation with precision and control, and without the slightest panic. After the intruder was taken away, Area approached him. "You saw him before I did." "I see a lot of things," Jackson replied. She swallowed, uncomfortable with how safe she felt in that moment. "Thank you." He nodded once. "It's my job." But the tone, it was gentler than she expected. Too gentle. Tour dates rolled in. Area needed to travel. And Jackson was always there. Airport, SUV, backstage, hotel. Always close, always composed. She tried to ignore him, tried to pretend his presence didn't make her more nervous than the stalker ever had. But he had a way of breaking through her walls with nothing but a raised eyebrow or a quiet comment. One morning, as paparazzi crowded the hotel driveway, Jackson stepped in front of her, shielding her from the cameras. Flashbulbs exploded, and one photo caught them at the worst angle. Her hand gripping his jacket, his arm around her waist. By the afternoon, headlines screamed, "Area Lane's mystery romance. Who is the man at her side?" Area paced her dressing room. My label is going to freak out." Jackson stood near the door. "It'll pass." "It won't," she shot back. "They'll twist everything." His voice was steady. "Let them talk. You're not doing anything wrong." She looked up at him, surprised by his certainty. "You talk like someone who's not afraid of consequences," she said. He gave a faint smile. "I stopped worrying about those a long time ago." Something in his tone told her there was a story beneath that charm, one he didn't share lightly. The pressure of touring built higher. Arya's rehearsals grew longer. The stalker's messages grew more detailed. One night, she stormed out of rehearsal, frustrated, exhausted, overwhelmed. Jackson followed her quietly to the empty hallway. "Arya," he said softly, "breathe." She didn't want to cry, not here, not in front of him, but her chest tightened and the words spilled out before she could stop them. "I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of pretending I'm fine. I didn't ask for any of this." Jackson stepped closer but didn't touch her. His voice lowered. "You're allowed to be afraid. It doesn't make you weak." She wiped her eyes. "What do you know about fear?" For the first time his expression changed, shadowed by something heavy. "I know what it's like to lose someone because you weren't fast enough," he said quietly. Arya froze. Jackson looked away for a second, jaw tight. Then he met her eyes again. "But that's not happening here. Not to you." Something shifted between them. Not romance, not yet, but something deep enough to be dangerous. The next message changed everything. It arrived backstage at a private venue rehearsal. Not emailed, not texted, printed, folded, left in Arya's dressing room. "You looked beautiful today in the blue dress, the one you wore for him." Arya felt the air slip from her lungs. No one knew she had changed into that dress for a late-night shoot, except her team. Jackson examined the note with narrowed eyes. "This means the stalker has access," he said. "Someone on the inside." Arya's heartbeat thundered. "I'm taking you out of here," he said. "Where?" "Somewhere they can't reach you." She didn't question him. Not this time. He drove her to a secluded safe house the label owned, modern, quiet, hidden behind steel gates. Inside, the silence was heavy, tense, charged. Arya stepped toward him, voice barely a whisper. "Jackson, have I been in danger this whole time?" "Yes," he said honestly, "but you're safe with me." His resolve cracked a little. Hers cracked completely. Feelings they'd both avoided now hung between them, undeniable, impossible, forbidden. And for the first time, they didn't look away. The final performance of her tour arrived 2 nights later. The biggest show of her career, broadcast live. Arya insisted she could perform. Jackson insisted he wasn't leaving her side. But neither expected what would happen next. Minutes before Arya walked on stage, Jackson spotted a figure moving behind a restricted curtain, someone who didn't belong. He chased the intruder down a narrow hallway, adrenaline sharp. The stalker tried to slip away, but Jackson moved faster. He subdued the man with practiced efficiency and handed him off to waiting security. When he returned to Arya's side, she was pale. "You disappeared," she whispered. "I thought—" He stepped closer. "Nothing is happening to you, not on my watch." Arya exhaled shakily. "Jackson, I can't go on stage if I don't know you're okay." His voice softened, rare and unguarded. "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." She looked up into his eyes. All the moments they'd held back, every spark, every lingering look, rose between them like a wave too strong to fight, and finally, they stopped pretending. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't reckless, it was quiet, honest. 2 people letting down walls they'd held up for too long. The stalker was arrested. Security tightened across her entire team. The show went on. Arya delivered a performance that the world replayed for days. But when she walked off stage, Jackson wasn't there. Her label had fired him for breaking protocol. Arya didn't hesitate. 2 days later, she showed up at Jackson's apartment wearing a simple hoodie and determination in her eyes. "You're rehired," she said. He arched an eyebrow. "I thought your label—" "I'm not talking about my label." She stepped closer. "I'm talking about me." Jackson's voice was quiet. "Arya, you know what this means." "Yes," she said. "It means we choose our own rules now." He looked at her for a long moment, the woman he had sworn to protect, the woman he had tried not to feel anything for, and then he opened the door wider. No flash bulbs, no fans, no noise. Just them, choosing each other, quietly, boldly, without looking back.